Now let's talk a little bit about the representative governance model. It really is 1 part political, 1 part corporate, and 2 parts weird. An important question you need to consider is, whose interest do you represent? The area or the committee who sent you? The association as an enterprise or as a whole? Well, the answer is, in practice, yes to both. Transparency and trust in governance occurs when board members understand the difference between being a representative for versus a representative of. If board members believe they are representatives for, then they see themselves as the elected representative of a particular constituency. They voice only the self-interest and opinions of that constituency and vote only in the best interest of that group they represent. Board members who believe their role is to ensure that the views, beliefs, values, and the interests of the constituencies they represent are on the table as part of the conversation are representatives of. This bestows a special role on you as a board member. You are an ambassador. This role requires an extra dose of a particular competency. It's called diplomacy. The mission is to facilitate a mutually beneficial relationship between parties. The functions are to ensure that the views and interests of each party are honestly and accurately communicated between the parties. And you need to advocate for the values, intents, interests, and actions of the group represented, and balance those interests with that of the organization as a whole and with the interests of the group represented. The fun comes in knowing how to effectively represent views and actions with which either a board member personally disagrees or the board decisions will not be well received by the group you represent. Here are a few tips for success. 1. Be willing to engage in the discussion. 2. Clearly put your position out on the table for others to consider. And 3. Don't leave the values, intents, interests, and opinions of the represented group unsaid. Don't use backroom discussions or negotiations. That can be very dangerous. And be open to the opinions of others. Make a serious effort to understand their position. Look for opportunities to compromise or find common ground. And remember, this is not about who wins or loses, but what is best for our members. Once a decision is made, the board members need to support the decision and work to bring your constituents on board. Remain professional, respectful, and courteous at all times. This does not mean the discussions cannot be vigorous and intense. Keep in mind, when dealing with other board members, just because someone disagrees with you doesn't mean he or she doesn't like you. Once a decision is made by the board, it is every board member's responsibility to support the decision and work to bring the entire membership together in support of that decision. Do not walk out of the room talking badly about individuals, particularly individual board members, the process, or the final decision. It is acceptable to acknowledge how you voted and that you disagreed with the decision. It is your responsibility to identify the positives in the decision and then use them to highly encourage the members to rally behind that decision.